Good evening, Echo units and fans of Nepa TV. We are here for Super Saturday here on August 27th, closing out Week 12 of Pro Series 2. What does Super Saturday mean to you? It means you get 4 matches tonight, not just 3. We've got 2 AAA games to kick things off and then 2 Pro Series games to close out the night. Our first matchup bringing the Daytona Tide against the Scranton Royals. That'll be followed by the Ottawa Frost against the Charlotte Smoke. And then for the Pro Series lineup, we'll be seeing the Denver Raptors against the Seattle Thunder and the LA Destroyers taking on the Phoenix Vipers. I'll be joined tonight by Glean in the booth, and I have got Muted Monster rocking the cams for us tonight. We will get with them in just a minute, but to make sure the Juicifer doesn't feel left out, we are going to talk about the rules first. For those not familiar with the Nepa format, hopefully you are by this point in the season, but just in case, we do play 4 8-minute quarters. They have a 5-minute halftime in between. There is 1 minute available to each team each half. You will see 5 players on the screen, but only 4 in the arena at any given time, that 5th player being a real-time sub. Overtime is played as a golden rule, and as always, Nepa tolerates no toxic or discriminatory behavior. With that, let me welcome my partner for this evening, Glean. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brutus. And it's an exciting one here tonight because of the matchups that we'll have here in the Eastern Conference. Things are shaking up to be very, very interesting down the stretch here. And should there be a couple of key wins here for players, we could have a 3-way tie for that 4th position in the Eastern Conference. So all of these games having a major playoff implications. You need to take your wins here, especially down the line, in order to be able to secure your spots. And that is exactly what is happening here. And it's got to feel good to have that destiny in your hands to try and make your name for yourself.
Yeah, it is. And as we get to the last couple of weeks of the season, as we close out Week 12, you've only got 3 more games for these teams to kind of make a spot for yourself in those playoffs. So like you said, we'll be talking about that throughout the cast, just huge playoff implications. But with that, let's talk about the teams we are going to see tonight. First off, over on the orange side is going to be the Daytona Tide. Glean, tell us about Daytona.
All right, so we're looking here at the Tide, who are currently sitting in that 4th place spot at a 6-5 record, coming off a 2-game win streak, and have been feeling pretty good as of late. They also took the previous matchup between these two teams 45-22. However, as many of the fans know, things have kind of shifted around as of late, with the Royals being so hot. And the Tide kind of having a couple of changes on their roster as well. Things have looked a little bit different coming into the latter half of this season.
Yeah, and taking a look in the arena as we look at this roster, Voodoo is the captain of the Daytona Tide. I also see with Voodoo in the arena, Arch as well as Ryan. Interestingly, I am not seeing Paranim, but I'm seeing Biat instead, and Shut also into the lineup. Looks like Jack G not going to be in the arena tonight. So a couple of alternates here playing with the Daytona Tide roster tonight. Always interested to see how those new players get incorporated into the team strategy and chemistry, and that'll be interesting to watch as we go throughout. Over on the blue side tonight, Glean, we have got the Scranton Royals. Tell us about Scranton.
Scranton's also been a fascinating team to watch as of late. I mean, so many AAA teams right now will tell you they are a dangerous squad. We're looking at Mastake, Cool Whip, one and only subbing in for Babs, Psychotic, and Dwap here in the arena, and they're on a 5-game winning streak and are in very heavy contention for a playoff spot here. If they are able to take a win, they actually tied the Tide in the standings as of right now, and would be tied for that 4th place spot. And then with the ladder came after this, with the Frost versus the Charlotte Smoke, the Smoke being in that 5th place spot. We'll have to see how that game plays out to then determine exactly where everybody's seated at the end of the day.
Yeah, so major implications in the Eastern Division AAA standings tonight, with 3 of these teams battling tonight to try and position themselves well to get into the playoffs. The 4th team tonight, the Ottawa Frost, are comfortably in the playoffs, but of course seeding and all that will play into it as they and the Columbus Fire sit atop the Eastern Division. But looking forward to a great matchup here. We are going to look to get these teams readied up as we have 10 players in the arena. But before we do, we are Copy. So, update on that. Shut is Jack G. So, actually, you can add one more primary roster player. We've got an alternate account being used tonight. So, Jack G is here. He'll be wearing jersey number 1 and using the name Shut for the night. So, thank you for that cleanup, Muted Monster, weighing in with the voice of reason back there. Muted, let's go ahead and tell these teams to ready up while I tell the folks about, Easter eggs. Every commercial that we broadcast during AAA and Pro Series this season have Nepa-themed Easter eggs. Some are obvious, some are not. You've got to pay attention. You've got to write down what you see as the Easter egg and what commercial you see it in, and be ready, because when we release the form, you are going to have the opportunity to win a $250 gift basket plus $100 cash and more. Watch the matches, write down the Easter eggs and the commercial you saw them in, and when we open up the competition, you will be ready to compete. So with that, I am hearing that sweet, sweet sound, Glean. We are going to get into our first match of the night, Daytona Tide taking on the Scranton Royals.
Indeed we will, and it's going to be a great one here. Major implications here down the stretch as we're looking at these two teams. We'll see the launch come out here, and it will be picked up here by Mistake for the Scranton Royals, immediately getting the disc back on that stack, but instead a quick grab here by the opposing side, trying to get this one cleared out. Can't fully find it all the way through, so instead taken here by Biot and just heavily contested here in the very start of this match. Shut now to take this one. Remember, that is Jack G and not just a PDR player here, so the pass down to the barrier is not good. Voodoo getting stunned out here by Dwup after the recovery and immediately cleared right back out. You can see the game plan here already being speed for both teams. A nice pickup here by by Ryan getting the self goal there, as Mistake did take that shot in off the head there, I believe.
Yeah, that's the way the game plays out. But yeah, it looked like Mistake was the one who sent that home. Ryan does give it a shot to try and stop it. Cannot. That's going to put the first 2 points of the game in the Scranton Royals' hands. They're now up 2-0, just over a minute into the game, as we get our first offensive joust going to the Daytona Tide.
It was rather interesting. It was almost a little bit like a Joker train there in the beginning, but they get the first couple of passes off. They find it down over to Voodoo now. Voodoo just going to back this one up on a reset, continuing to try and find good offense, but that's not exactly what they want there. Is that pass goes astray, and now Dwup taking it here from Cool Whip tries to get the clear out, but already Ryan in good position to recover that one. Sends it up top. They have a numbers advantage. Voodoo driving in. Great save there by Pistake, but Arch right there on the cut will clean that one up. Gets the grab, gets the goal in.
90 seconds into the match, we get our second goal. It is persistent offense out of the Daytona Tide. I just string together a couple of attacks. That last one paying off. They hit Arch on the cut pass. He puts that in to tie this one up at 2.
Yeah, already we're seeing the pace is extremely fast. Both these teams playing to extreme limits right now, as Dwup is going to look for a long 3 and not quite on, as the defense did get back and maybe could stop it, but still Dwup getting the recovery here on the rebound. Now looking to try and maybe back this one up. Will indeed find the pass back to Psychotic and trying to get the pass over. Oh, good find there by Psycha to Mistake.
Yes, what a pass there, dropping a dime. Mistake waiting behind the goal, but Psychotic threads a needle there just over top of Shield and splits a couple of defenders to get that in the hands where the goal can be scored. We're back to a 2-point lead for the Royals.
All right, Shut gonna take this one and now look for the pass, but oh, that one goes astray. So Cool Whip will take this and send it deep into the orange side bubble. Immediately picked up by Dwup. Bounce shot in for 2, and those Royals are off to a good start.
Heads up play there by Cool Whip, Nepa TV's own Cool Whip. Love to see her in the arena, but good awareness there to recognize that the Daytona Tide had pushed forward. She dumps the disc down into the bubble, and then the chain race goes to the Royals side. They've stretched it out 6-2 with 5 minutes to go.
Right, again, Shut here with the QB, going to send this one over to Arch, this time opting to the left side of the arena. Arch now going to pass this one up top to the ceiling. Nice little relay up forward to Voodoo. Voodoo going to look to drive in, but Psycha says no. Gets the steal, clears that one out. Can't quite find it all the way through. Shut now on the recovery. Bounce shot in will secure the 2.
Jack G getting 2 points on the board there, brings it back within 2 points. Juice for I see you in the chat. That great camel work goes to Muted Monster tonight. He crushes it all the time, but yeah, apparently had a great camera view of that one, Muted. Keep up the good work.
Indeed, he does. I know he was really proud of one last night, actually. There was a great save that he got, but providing a lot of the great clips here is now that one gets picked up here by Dwup, but immediately that stack is on and they stun out the defense. So much pressure from both teams looking to try and play with these stacks. Now Ryan juking around a little bit, trying to find the pass up top. Stun out from Syken means that the disc is in Dwup's hands and cleared right back out, but not through the arena. Mistake gets it through to the opposing side. That's a bounce shot in. Oh my! Mistake from 47.
Mistake doing Mistake things. That's now 5 points on the match for Mistake to go along with a really nice assist that we saw earlier as well. So Mistake having a really good start to this match. That score is going to bring it up to a 5-point lead with just under half of this first quarter yet to play.
Yeah, whoa is right, Farsight. What a shot there. And I mean, you can take those kinds of shots when you have the confidence and when you know that you can break those stacks. And now they're looking to drive in here for the Tide, but they just get stunned out instead. And this one not cleared out once again. Cool Whip's still there to pick it up and get it all the way through on the opposing side. And they're looking to maybe play this a little bit slower. They're looking for the cross pass. Dwup is kind of in the area. It's still able to recover through 2 defenders. And now, because of that, they have numbers if they want to press this advantage. Mistake looking to drive in. Tries the cross. No, bit high. Instead cleared out by, or picked up here by Shut for the Tide. Back into Dwup's hands. A 3. No, Shut again. Shuts the door. Gets this one cleared right back out here for the Tide. Looking to try and chase this one down, but it is the Royals there first to get the pickup. Now looking to try and send this one out. Instead, Voodoo with the pick here in the midfield. Midfield interceptions have been great for both sides. This one coming down. Good look here. Shut top pocket. We'll find the bounce 2 in.
And brings it back to within a 1-score game. Now down only 3 with 2.5 to go in the quarter. Viewers, if you didn't hear us at the onset, it's going to happen all match. Shut is Jack G. Jack G is Shut. There's an alt account being used tonight. We're probably going to use both. Try to hang with us.
Well, we'll try and mix it in there, yeah. Dwup now looking at a 3. Speaking of mixing it up, Dwup can do it inside the bubble. He can do it out, and it don't matter if the defense gets back because he'll find the angle.
Boy, and what a timely three-pointer. After the Daytona Tide had brought it back within 3, that three-pointer stretches it all the way back up to 6. Scranton Royals now doubling up the Daytona Tide, 12-6, still 2 minutes to go in the quarter.
All right, now this one trying to be sent down to a teammate, cannot find the pass. Jack G wasn't able to fully get it through. Cool Whip now to pick this one up. They had a great stack there to get that one too. And Mistake, oh my! A bounce 3 off top pocket into bottom pocket. That is one of the most unusual shots I've ever seen.
Unusual but effective. It is a full another 3 points. Less than 60 seconds ago, this was a 3-point match. It is now stretched out to 9 with back-to-back 3-pointers from the Scranton Royals. Still got a minute and 20 seconds yet to play. Daytona Tide looking to get some momentum here going into our first intermission.
Yeah, and interestingly, that last 3 was actually a 7-meter 3 as well, so created even more chaos in that sense. Is now dragging this one in. Shut at an angle. No, couldn't find it. Instead, Dingring doing so much work here for the Royals. This one almost was a shot instead off of Nest and actually missed here by the Tide. A critical miss here as Dwup may be looking to drive in, but a good steal here from Ryan. That it gets turned right back over and over to the other side. The Royals trying to chase this one down, so are the Tide. Both teams looking for Voodoo. Good pickup. Voodoo with a shot. No, off top pocket yet again. They cannot find these shots. The post is too much for Tide right now, and you can see that they're trying to place it as close to the post as possible because they've gotten, the goal is. I was trying to talk about how the goalies have been fantastic, and right there, the Royals goalies actually missed the disc, meaning Ryan gets the bounce 3 in.
Multiple bounce 3. I actually think that hit off the sidewall, and then either the floor or the back wall there found its way in after multiple bounces. It sure looked like the defense was going to have a play, but like you said, missed the disc. And just what we said, Daytona Tide looking to grab some momentum going into the quarter, eat into what had been 3 straight 3-pointers for the Royals. Daytona Tide answered there, get that long 3-pointer off of the bounce, which brings us to a 15-9 lead in favor of the Scranton Royals. And with that, we will go to our first intermission and a word from our sponsors. Welcome back to Nepa TV's Super Saturday. I am Brutus. I am here with Glean. We just saw our first quarter of the night. Do not worry, we've still got 15 more to go, so if you're late to tune in, we'll get you caught up. We have seen a really good back and forth match. A lot of three-pointers going in, Glean, here so far. Stats standing out to me are assists heavily in favor of Scranton and also a slight edge in stun. So maybe that's what's causing some of the frustration for the Daytona Tide. They are still well within striking distance at 6 points as we get started here in the second quarter.
Yeah, and speaking of the three-point shot, the bounces on the three-point shots have been kind of insane tonight as well. We've seen 2 deep threes off those bounces. Is now, a bit of interesting interaction here. Cool Whip looking for the shot. Can't quite find it and sit off the top pocket, and now trying to chase this one down. Dwell very well in the area now, looking to try and find an angle, looking for a couple of passes. Can't find anything as of right now. Will instead just back this one up, look for a reset just by moving backwards. And that's something that you guys can do as players, is just, if you don't see an open pass, just move things back, get the reset off. And a great find there from Mistake to Cool Whip, both of them diving in and using that verticality to create that space.
Yeah, you brought up a great point on that. Credit you up for backing that one out, spreading out the defense to set up that lane to get the pass into Cool Whip, who makes that assist. All set up by that patient play, but also just backing up that little bit created enough space to make those passing lanes open and enable that goal. Really nice teamwork there.
That was a beautiful pick from Mistake and a bit of an ambitious shot there from Dwup. Was looking for kind of a flare on the shot, but Cool Whip will clean that one up quite easily after a great find there from Mistake to the nest.
And deservedly so, because Cool Whip has been putting in work with 3 assists so far in the match. That's going to be her second goal. She's now got 4 on the night, and they have stretched their lead to double digits.
Yeah, and they continue to pour it on, picking up where they left off from that first quarter, looking absolutely relentless. They come out again with this aggressive stack, and this time pursuing the disc, and they get the stun off. Arch, great diligence to get the disc, but can't quite fight through 2 defenders. Is now Mistake handling this one, gives it back over to Dwup. Dwup looking at the 3, no, off the bottom pocket, and dings out instead. This one cleared out here by Arch, looking to try and chase this one down. Dwup hands managed to find the disc first through the defenders. Now going to walk this one up, jukes around a little bit to try and send this one back. Does have a teammate back there, Mistake, on a deep reset to now try and slow things down as they're looking to bait out the stack. They try and get the clear of the pass off. It does find its way through, but not into any teammate's hands. So back into the Tide's hands and possession, and now picked up here by Voodoo. Voodoo gonna look to try and drive in 1v1. No, Psychotic again. Another great save here. She has been stellar in the goals tonight so far, and has looked to continue to get those saves in. Mistake in the shot. No, great save by Voodoo. Now into Dwup's hands. Dwup looking to put pressure. Oh, Mistake will secure the 2 after driving in, and the goalie was stunned.
Dwup putting in work on both ends on that earlier goal, saw the self-reset, setting up the passing lane, setting things up, now getting closer to the scoring there with the assist. Looked like that one might have gone in, but Mistake makes sure of it, puts that in for another 2 points. Daytona Tide. Tide is not going their direction right now. They need to find something here that'll work on the offensive end, and it looks like Voodoo's going to find an opportunity here to bring the disc up to the near side.
Yeah, Voodoo, a phenomenal shooter, but just has not quite had the angle yet to take a lot of those shots tonight because he's being shut down so early on his drives. And now Ryan's going to handle this one. Going to look for the pass up here to Voodoo. Voodoo going to try and drive in, maybe. There's the shot that we all expect from Voodoo. Finds it in the bottom pocket for the 2.
Yeah, and very timely. Don't want to let this lead get too far out of hand. Remember, we had a really close score up until about the 10-point mark where we saw the Scranton Royals go on a bit of a run. They continued that run from the first quarter to the second quarter, so an important answer there. Voodoo getting 2 points on the board, bringing it back within 10. Still over half of the quarter to go, so they've got some time. They're going to have to continue to bring the pressure.
So that was a nice little relay play there from the Royals, but instead it gets turned over at the end because of the one cross pass not being on target. Still picked up here by the Royals and cleared back out after what was a dangerous clear in by the Tide, but Mistake is able to take this one and send it out quite easily. Both teams chasing this one down, but taken here by Ryan in the eventual chaos. And trying to get it cleared out, hits some Geo Psychotic, trying to get the pass or the shot in. Does actually end up being a pass to Cool Whip, now trying to dump this one in on the lower side and gets another easy 2 in.
Cool Whip having such an effective game here. That brings Cool Whip's total up to 6 points to go, along with 3 assists, which is tied for lead in the match on both teams, as well as 2 steals. So Cool Whip playing a really nice match here for the Royals. Those 2 points bring it back to a 12-point lead.
Yeah, her and Mistake have both been extremely efficient tonight. And this is a great look. Arch, no, could not quite find the 3. Instead, off the outside of the post, Cool Whip going to look for a clear out. Maybe not, as it does take a bounce, and now backed up here by Jack G. Now look for the pass down. No, can't find the teammate, just out of the hands. Ryan trying to track this one down, does get to it. Trying to juke, no, can't get past the 2 defenders. Moving around here, shut, looking for the shot, no. Instead, off the post, once again, Ryan trying to back this one up, trying to get any sort of control. They find the pass down to Jack G, over to Voodoo, no, saved here by Cool Whip, unbelievable, under so much pressure. Now Voodoo handling this one, looking for the pass back. They have another player outside, Arch, now looking for a crossover. Good disc movement, but unfortunately that pass goes astray, and that means that the Royals can try and chase this one down. Cool Whip sending this one all the way out, but still taken here by the Tide. They had a stack ready to go and are ready to look to try and clear this one out. And now this stun coming through means it's a dangerous reset. Picked up here by Dwop. No, couldn't find the shot quite yet. And this one back into the Tide's hands. Voodoo Ryan going to handle this one and slow it down just for a moment. Finds the pass down to Arch. Great bounce for them. They find the backboard pass. Voodoo gets it in past the hands of Cool Whip.
Wow, what a minute and 16 seconds we just witnessed between goals. Both teams with scoring opportunities within the bubble. Multiple shots out of the Daytona Tide on that first attack. The Scranton Royals had such a moral victory. All 8 players in the bubble, and somehow they get it cleared over to the orange side. But ultimately, Voodoo getting those 2 points brings it back to within a 10-point match. Such a huge score for the Daytona Tide as they look to close this up before the half.
All right, Cool Whip now going to drive this one in. Look for Dwop here on the cross, potentially. No, going to drive it in herself. And that will be the 8th point here for Cool Whip in this half.
Yes, Cool Whip is on fire. Like you said earlier, Mistake, Cool Whip, both getting things done. Those 2 players combining for 18 of the 25 points credited to the Scranton Royals right now. So really, really good combination working right there. DeWup doing great things in that midfield defense, creating turnovers. I really think that's where the Daytona Tide have to figure out where to break through, and breakthrough is exactly what they're doing right now as they get Voodoo in position for a really nice 2-pointer there, slicing at the goal and puts that one in to bring them back within 10. 1 minute to go in the half.
That relay play has been a great thing of work here for the Tide. Maybe they continue to go to it in the second half, but with this one wrapping up, they won't have too much opportunity to go for it. It's now Mistake handling this immediate cross pass over to Dwop. Look at an open 3. Oh, the stack was there, but couldn't get back, and they're fortunate that that one dings off. Voodoo now going to look for the clear out. Can't find it all the way through. Dwop chasing this one down. Dwop looking for an angle. No, shuts the door, and back into the hands of Dwop. Another open 3, and he will not miss this one. Secures it and puts them up by 13.
Up by 13, talking about everything DeWup has done both offensively and defensively in the midfield, still finding time and opportunity to move forward. 2 assists to go along with 8 points now. Again, Scranton Royals playing a really nice team effort.
Absolutely, and maybe one more goal here for the Tide. Ooh, a bit interrupted here in the mid zone. Both teams trying to track this one down into the hands of the opposing side, and now this one getting cleared right back out. It will be a 28-15 game here at the halftime, and we'll be back after a word from our sponsors.
For those looking to claim this week's NFT, get over to www.nepavrpro.com/NFT to fill out the claim form. In order to complete the claim form, you will need the secret password, which is STACK. The deadline to submit the claim form is 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, August 28th. www.nepavrpro.com/NFT is where you got to go. You see the picture there on the screen. These things are sweet. You want the whole collection, so get over there now and do not miss out on this week's opportunity. You've got till tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern to get that submitted. And with that, we will bring Glean back and we will take a look at some stats. This halftime report brought to you by Big St. Charles Auto and Motorsports. Glean, we have seen quite a match. I would almost argue that 13 points is too much based on the level of play we've seen out of these two teams, but it's a really close 13-point game because every time the Royals go on a run, Daytona Tide are scratching something together. Voodoo really picking up the scoring there in the second quarter. What do you see taking a look at the stats?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And it's really been those runs that have dictated the game. It's been the slightly larger runs here for the Royals that have meant that they've built this lead over time continuously. And have been able to get out to those 13 points. And before we jump into the stats, I would like to talk a little bit more about the context because I saw Juice for mentioning it there in chat, and good to establish for all the viewers out there who may have not been here since the beginning. But this is a huge game for playoffs. Should there be a Royals win tonight against the Daytona Tide, they will tie them in the standings. And should the Charlotte Smoke, our second AAA game of the night, then lose, it will be a fourth place tie between the Royals and the Daytona Tide. However, should the Smoke and the Royals win here tonight, it will be a three-way tie for that fourth place spot down the stretch with about 2 weeks left to go here in the season. You don't want to miss out if that's the case because it'll be some intense action a little bit later on. And of course, it looks like here Mistake, Dwup, and Coolip all on the front lines there of the offense for the Royals, putting in so much work, making sure that they can try and secure that playoff spot since they are on the fringe right now, sitting at that 6th place.
Yeah, such important timing. We've only got 2 weeks to go after tonight to get into the playoffs. So yeah, huge game for both of these teams. You know that they're both strategizing here to figure out how they can walk away with a victory here coming out of the second half. Taking a look back at the first half, stats wise, time of possession relatively equal. Shots taken surprisingly equal, 20-16. Assists though, 10 for the Scranton Royals to only 4 for the Daytona Tide. That's 70-30%. What that really tells me, when I see an assist tied to a shot, that tells me that it was a high probability of scoring shooting opportunity. So there's taking a long shot, there's taking a contested shot. A lot of times when you see an assist, that's a player finding a pass to a player in position to score. We saw Cool Whip thread the needle to Mistake behind the goal earlier in the match. We saw Dwup set up another goal with that really nice passing. So when I see that big of a differential in assists, it tells me that the Royals are generating higher quality scoring opportunities, and I think that's why we're seeing the translation in the score. Otherwise, stuns relatively equal as well, and saves and steals kind of in the basket. You can see really nice team play, spread of stats across what the Scranton Royals are bringing to the table. 10 points for Mistake, 8 apiece for Cool Whip and Dwup. Chaotic not as involved on the scoring side, but look at those 3 assists to go along with 17 stuns. It's players knowing their role, using the chemistry of the team to put themselves in position to win. That's why they're going to go here into the second half with a 13-point lead.
Yeah, and on the other side here for the Tide, it's actually been a slightly quiet night here for Jack G. I know that Arch and Ryan love to play that kind of facilitating role. They both look to try and set up Voodoo and Jack G pretty significantly here, but they have not been able to do so far because the two players have been shut down whenever they're driving into the bubble. So look more for Jack G and Voodoo to try and have that space to try and make those shots created there by Arch and Ryan. Is now jumping into this game and into the second half, and Mistake will be the one to pick this one up easily here for the Royals. They look to try and get all players down the field. Cool Whip already on the reception with the shot in. Such a quick release there, up by 15. They double the score of their opponents.
They do, and just 8 seconds on that first goal of the second half. Daytona Tide, that's not what you want. You know they were talking about strategy at halftime. You know they wanted to come out and start eating into that lead. The last thing you want to do is give up another quick 2 points, but that's exactly what Cool Whip manages there. So now with the joust advantage, Daytona Tide feeling more and more pressure. Playoffs coming up. Right now they're higher in the standings, but they do not want to drop back to 500 with a loss here. So let's see what they do here on the offensive side, any adjustments they might have made. Voodoo really caught on there in the second quarter, getting a few goals there. They're getting the assist, finding Ryan behind the goal. So there they have matched that 2-pointer from Cool Whip, brought it back to within 13 points as we hit the 1 minute into the third quarter match.
That's a really nice thing that you can do as well. If you aren't able to facilitate to two other players because they're getting shut down, maybe you just have to take the aggression yourself. Ryan doing so there with the jukes. And now Mistake gets a great block off, gets the ender, but denied by Jack G. Gets the grab here and sends it in on a 3-point shot. Will be high and wide, so not quite able to find anything through. Trying to get the clear out here are the Royals, but it's shut already there to get the pickup. Sends it over to Ryan. Ryan over to Voodoo. Voodoo shot in. Will find the 2, and they have found a nice little 4-point response here.
Yeah, they have, and back-to-back goals, so important. They've got it back to within 11 points there. The players that you're talking about getting back involved, Voodoo getting some points on the board. That's what we saw in the second quarter. Now continuing here in the third, 8 points total on the game for Voodoo, and they're starting to eat into that lead.
Yeah. What a pass there to Dwup. The bounce was beautiful. Now trying to find the crossover to Cool Whip. Great save there by Arch there in the goal. Great denial as now Shut will try and get this one cleared all the way out. Does get it down the field. Ryan in hot pursuit, trying to get to the diff. Does get there first, and with no stacks in sight, will lay that one in nice and easily. And a nice 3-goal run for that Tide team.
Yeah, 6 points in, and now back to a single-digit lead. Still 5.5 to go in the quarter, but a really nice response here early in the second half out of the Daytona Tide. They are still very much in this one now, just down 3 scores.
Right, Psychotic going to send this one down to Mistake. They opt for a slightly different rollout here, sends it back to Psycha. Over to Mistake, opting to play this one a bit slower as they're trying to bait out that defense. Still backing up back and forth between these two players. They do get the stun out here onto Jack G, and now going for this one all the way through. Cannot quite find it all the way through, but Cool Whip is able to scoop that one up quite easily. Now looking for an extra pass, but was not aware of the goalie jumping out to get the stun. Shut drops this one in his own side as it bounced off some Geo, as Psychotic will send this one over to Mistake. Mistake, interesting back pass attempt here to Psychotic. A bit of miscommunication there, I believe, as they were basically right in the same area and could have been a handoff, but this might be a critical turnover. It is indeed, as Ryan will get the pick up here. Now look for a shot. Great pass, but a great grab there by Mistake on the recovery from the defensive stack. Now trying to chase this one down. Both sides not able to get away cleanly due to how many stuns are coming in that backfield. This disc is still into the Royals side, pursued by a number of players. Arch able to get there first, sends it back on a reset, but already Dwup is there to cover the lane. Dwup looking at a long 3, will not find it as it is wide, and now picked up here by the Tide. Taken by Voodoo after the stun came through. Ryan could not get the grab here from the pass and is looking for the clear. Does manage to get up just in time for the stun, and Cool Whip on the reception. Both these teams fighting tooth and nail. So scrappy. That shot just off on the 3. But Shut gets it back. Jack G for the 3. Bounces it in, and they are back within 6.
Do not look now. After being down 13 points earlier, we are back within 6 here. Still almost half of this third quarter to go. The Daytona Tide have found some rhythm. They have found some chemistry. Jack G, Voodoo doing their thing, just like you talked about at halftime. Now 8 for Voodoo, 7 for Jack G, 7 for Ryan. So a nice spread here in the third quarter. Go ahead.
That was a beautiful dive from Ryan, or from Arch. He saw that play before, able to score it on the other side. I can't get over that goalie dive. Just knew where that disc was going. They've seen it enough times to know to dive on that one. They bring it back within 3, and it's most importantly, this Daytona Tide defense has cleaned up significantly from this first half, whereas it felt like the Royals could really get as much or as many points as they wanted from as many angles as they wanted. Now they can't get anything because they're being stuffed so hard.
Yeah, I love it. We have got a 3-point game, 3 minutes to go in the third of our first match of the night. Is Super Saturday. This is why you tune in for exciting matches like this. What a change of the tide we have seen as Daytona, after falling behind fairly significantly in the second quarter, have battled their way back here in the third. And you're right, that defense is clamping down, frustrating the Royals offense. And just like that, they get another nice pick there, get it cleared back to the blue side.
Oh, and I'm just getting hyped because I love watching this game. It's coming down to the wire. This midfield presence, able to get to the disc. They have the stack. They're chasing this one down. It doesn't matter. Jeff G hits it off the ceiling. Tie game, baby. And that is exactly
out of here. Yeah, Jucifer. Exactly yep, Jucifer. That was a good suggestion there, as we are going to see a timeout here. The Scranton Royals, enjoying earlier a 13-point lead, now find themselves tied up with the Tide, but just having no momentum right now. And I think it all comes back to that Daytona Tide defense that's really stepped it up here in the second half, Glean.
Oh, absolutely. It has been stellar to watch them. They've had so many interceptions, and it's not just one player making them. They just seem to have this communication on where the disc is going to go. They have a great understanding of all of these Royals plays that have come out before them so far, and the Royals, thinking that they have the advantage and that they don't need to change anything, have continued to run with them. But the Tide showing otherwise. They continue to pursue them on these plays. Now tying this one back up. This is what, a 15-point run now, something like that. It's at least 7 goals now that they've had all in rapid succession to tie this one up in the third quarter.
Yeah, it's really been an impressive run. They're getting it done on defense. They're also being really quick about their transition. So they're getting those steals that you're talking about, and then they're getting the disc up the arena fast. So before the Royals defense can get back, they're putting points on the board. That's why this run has really only taken about 3 minutes off of the clock for them to accomplish, because of how quick they've been in transition.
Absolutely. Credit those stacks. Absolutely. Oh, it was an unfortunate headbutt there from Cool Whip. Could have been a shot, but could not get the hands on it. Instead, taken here by Dwup for the Royals, looking to maybe slow things down. Will just juke around a couple of times, trying to get it out from the defenders. Ooh, an interesting back pass. Not able to collect it. Psychotic is able to finally get to it, and does get the clear out. Could have been dangerous. So still taken here by the Tide, as that was a bit of a slow clear. Look for the pass over. Ooh, Ryan just outside the hand. Psychotic, great dive there to get that one slapped out. But if only for just a moment, as Shut will get the recovery here and look for a pass down low. Arch now looking on the side, has a couple of cross options. Is going to look to try and drive this one in. Great find on the backboard, and they take the lead here. Ryan JS coming alive here in this third quarter, stepping up huge alongside Arch.
Wow, was that assist crisp and right where it needed to be. Ryan barely having time to get a hand on the disc and beat the goalie who was trying to recover to the backside, but that assist was just so on point. There was no time to make it happen.
All right, Mistake going to send this one. Oh, great midfield interception. How many times? Voodoo from 36. Give him the arm cannon, because he's got it locked and loaded. They're up by 5.
Jucifer, back me up. Seriously, I think this is a 20-point run. This is unbelievable.
It is a 20-point run. I can confirm that, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Cool. I don't have my stats up. My goodness. I knew it was 13. I guess it was 15. They are now up by 5. What an unbelievable quarter out of the Daytona Tide.
Absolutely, and most importantly, I'll hit you with this. The Royals have only had 2 points in this entire third quarter, as they did get another denial here from Voodoo, and that will end this one out. That lead of 13 points collapsing here in the third, as we will go to a fourth quarter in just a moment after a word from our sponsors.
One American with a burning desire to save the world from high prices. He is the stuntman that saved the world. He is looking to destroy high prices. A man that brought the world together because of his love for Kawasaki. One man strapped to a 2021 Terex KRX 1000. The stuntman that saved the world. Get your favorite Kawasaki motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides today at Holzhauer Pro Motorsports in Nashville, Illinois.
Welcome back to Nepa TV's Super Saturday. We have got a hot one here, Glean, getting the night started off right. This has been a tale of, I want to say 2 halves, but it's really 2 quarters and then a third quarter, which were totally different. Scranton Royals going into halftime with a 13-point lead. They score 8 seconds into the third quarter. to stretch it to 15. That was the last time they scored. It is now a 5-point advantage to the Daytona Tide after 20 unanswered points after Cool Whip had that 2-pointer to open up the second half. The Daytona Tide have been on an absolute tear.
Yeah, I mean, talk about getting into the zone. It just seems like this team has achieved that next level of great communication, great facilitation between players, and understanding where everyone is going to be, so that way that disc is always in their hands. And you can never be too careful, or else you get swept away by the Riptide that has come through here in this third quarter. They already get the tap here in the fourth on the initial joust, but picked up here by the Royals regardless. Psychotic gonna look for the clear through, can't find it. Instead, into the hands of Shut. Shut gonna try and find a bounce three. Jack G, no, not again. No, instead off the post. It will be Ryan JS to track this one down, but gets stunned out by multiple players of the Royals. That clear can't come through here from Cool Whip, so still bouncing loose. Great pickup there by Ryan, looking to drive this one in. Oh, off the post. Could not quite find it fully, as that was a tough angle to take it from, but Arch still able to recover this one easily. Sends it back to Voodoo on the reset. Now looking for good facilitation inside the bubble. Ryan past the man. Ryan tries to find the pass down. No, couldn't find it all the way. Still recovered here by Jack G. Shut will be taken here by Dwup instead, and now looking for the clear all the way back down to the other side. They have the sacks ready to go. Royals in hot pursuit, looking to try and press numbers advantage here potentially. No, not quite, as there was a stun, so Mistake going to bide some time. Finds the bounce shot, but not in the goal, instead just wide. Now,
how many times in the first half did we see that Cool Whip to Mistake or Mistake to Cool Whip connection happen? They've got 10 points each in the match. That time they cannot quite connect, though, Glean. Scranton Royals trying to get something done on the offensive side. They had a good defensive stand there, but they need to get some points on the board.
Yeah, it's really tough. And once you see that goal go in, it might be a little bit easier, but that's not what you want. Ryan, now the point leader here for the Daytona Tide, sitting here at 12. What a game he's had.
Yeah, really has been a nice game. Ryan has been there throughout, 5 assists to go along with those 12 points. So having a really, really great effort out here. I know, Queen, you're out there. If we're confusing you, it's only because Jack G is playing under an alt. That is Shut. We actually call him Jack G Shut and Jack G Shut, all one word. So bear with us. We're doing our best.
Dude, Ryan knew exactly where that disc was going on that defensive play. Immediately got the stun under Dwup. And now this disc back into the Daytona Tide side. Cool Whip could not get the hands on it. Could have converted there, but now into the hands of Mistake regardless. Going to look for the pass up top. Hits Psycha. Psycha over to Cool Whip. And there's the goal that they needed to try and bring this one back. Cool Whip finds it on the sharp angle for 2.
Cool Whip, really nice goal there. That was a steep angle, but able to dial that one home. Cool Whip now with consecutive goals for the Royals?
I'm not quite sure.
No, that was a joke. Going back to our previous, she had the first goal of the half. This is their next goal, and it comes almost 10 minutes later. So really important goal there for the Scranton Royals to try and get some momentum. They're still within 6 because they had built up such a huge lead. So good to see Cool Whip getting back in on scoring, and let's see if the Royals can string something together here.
But what great team play there, spreading the entirety of the arena. You could see the way that they're passing. They pass it back and forth along the floor, trying to bait up that stack. And then when they get it down, who else but the hot hand of Ryan? They're at the other end, able to score on the goalie and to end out that possession. Now back up here by 8 with the Royals in pursuit of this disc on their offensive joust. Mistake going to find this one over to Cool Whip. Good little relay play as they look for potentially a cross or potentially a drive. Cool Whip's going to try and cross it over to Dwup, but just a bit low. Still able to pick it up here is Psychotic and going to try and find the backboard. Gets it to Dwup. Dwup, ooh, attempted shot there, I believe, but just a bit of strangeness there on the Geo means that it goes wide, and Shut will track this one down to look for another angle on a clear. No, instead opts to back it up, and that's what this team has done well so far. They've played with the time. They know that they have the points lead and will continue to play calm, cool, and collected with smart passing plays. Now over to Ryan as from Arch. Going to be able to walk this one up. No one in sight. Could drive on this one solo. Will try. Oh, Cool Whip got the hands, but not able to keep the goal out from going in. And now a 10-point lead built right back up here by the Tide.
Oh, and those are so tough all the time. But in the fourth quarter, when you're trying to eat into that lead, Cool Whip having some offensive success, tries to make the stop there, can't quite make it happen. Still at 10 points. There is plenty of time to go here, Glean.
Absolutely. So much time left on the clock. And if we've seen anything from these Scranton Royals is that they can score extremely quickly. They just need to unlock that down the stretch here. The Clutch Genes need to come and kick in as Dwup is going to back this one up, going to walk around, but stunned out by Voodoo. Too much time with the disc with the defender on him. Now this one gets cleared all the way out to the blue side, now bouncing loose. It will be Dwup to pick it right back up here. Looks for the clear down deep. Has it all the way through into that Daytona Tide side, but it's still Ryan here on the back end, able to get the pickup and send it down to Arch. Going to, again, slow things down, play with time, try and bait out those defenders. The clear not quite clean, but still able to tap it through anyway and bounce up in mid. They continue to just send this one forward, try and cycle the disc, keep it out of the Royals' hands at any cost, and Shut just going to be juking around, finds the cross pass up top. Arch on the shot, yes, secured there as the defender was stunned out.
Yeah, goalie was in position, but the stun is on time. Jack G finding Arch for another kind of steep angle shot there coming off of the ceiling, but gets it home. It's now 12 points, a 4-possession game with 3 unanswered threes, but the Royals' battle is getting more and more uphill.
Indeed, as Mistake is not going to handle this one. They send it down to Psychotic. It could be one goal to try and turn things around, but things are closing in. You could feel kind of that tide dragging them under. Dwup will find a long 3, and that's a great way to start to drag them back up to the surface.
Yeah, Dwup, who was just so active, felt like I was saying Dwup every other word in the first half, kind of fell silent there, getting back in on the action there. Another 3-pointers. They're back within 9, brought a 4-score game down to a 3-score game. There still is time, down by 9.
All right, now juking here on the ceiling, it will be Jack G, otherwise known as Shut. Now Arch going to handle here on the side, finds the cross pass over. Voodoo not able to handle the disc. He does get loose, but still tapped here. And it's been the story of how this Tide team has been able to get to the disc at almost every opportunity, always there first. Even if it's a slap, they still are able to get there consistently. Voodoo is able to clear this one out after receiving another touch pass, and they get it all the way to the Royals side. Cool Whip there to get to the grab first, but needs to find a clear as soon as possible to try and get any points. Clock is ticking, and that's not what you want to see. Ryan getting to pick up. Voodoo shot, no, Mistake, great save. Keeps them in this one, if only for a moment, as Shut will get the grab here again. Tries to find the pass across, just loose. Arch in the area, can't get the grab. This one back into Shut's hands. Shut going to find a 3-point shot that is wide open, and that will close out the game here in favor of the Daytona Tide.
Yes, it certainly will. That is the proverbial nail in the coffin, stretching this back out to 12 points. Who other than Jack G, who had a relatively quiet first half, but boy, caught fire here in the second half. Just like you talked about at halftime, Jack G and Voodoo, so effective on the offensive end. Really didn't find that rhythm in the first half, but here in the second half, they have just got things working. They've stretched it out to 12 points, and it looks like without a late goal here, that's where we're going to close out this match, an all-important match in the playoffs.
That one was almost in there from Jack, and perhaps one last goal indeed will pad the stats, pad the numbers. They take this one by 14. And the Daytona Tide secure their 4th place spot. They take a 2-game lead over the 6th place of Scranton Royals, and now the pressure on the Smoke in the second game after this to make sure they maintain their 5th place spot.
Yeah, very important win. It is going to take the Daytona Tide to 7-5 overall. Scranton Royals falling to 5-7 in spite of a hard-fought match. Boy, the final score there says 14. It was much closer than that, Glean, and the major comeback that we saw in the third quarter from the Daytona Tide is about as exciting as you're going to see in this game. So really great match by both of these teams. Still both a lot to play for in the season, but the Daytona Tide walking away with a victory at 7-5, well positioned from a playoff standpoint.
Yeah, and the most important thing here, I think, is that if you are the Scranton Royals, it's a really tough loss to take, because now you would have to essentially win both of your last 2 games in order to make sure that you can get in. And part of that is that your destiny is out of your hands. If you were able to tie up the record here with the Daytona Tide and potentially with the Charlotte Smoke, you could have felt really good going into the last 2 weeks. You had your destiny in your own hands. You were able to make the plays here, but now you're almost dependent on the Charlotte Smoke losing retie with you, and then be able to continue moving forward from there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the past 2 weeks, but we can only focus on the right here and now, as speculation will only get us so far. And what I'm seeing here is, we're looking here at Jack G, we're looking here at Voodoo, we're looking here at Ryan, so effective here on the front side, all three with double-digit points, 13, 13, 14 respectively. Arch, great facilitator in there as well, getting the 7 points, the 2 assists. 5 assists on Ryan's side, 4 from Chud, and where we saw kind of the assist lead for the Royals in the beginning really started to get it enveloped here by the other side, as we see so many assists here coming in as compared to the first half here for the Tide.
Yeah, the Tide totally changed the tide in the second half. It was like a completely different match the way that they came out. Cool Whip getting that first goal of the second half. I just really thought that the Royals had everything working that way. We just really hadn't seen much defensively out of the Daytona Tide. Voodoo with a couple of goals late in the first half, but Jack G playing on the alt account, just really not feeling comfortable in the first half. So it just really felt like it was going to go a certain direction, and hats off to the Daytona Tide. The adjustments at halftime, settling into their game, and at the end of the day, walking away, which with score-wise, what looks like a pretty convincing win here to go ahead and walk away with a victory. With that, Glean, let's talk about our Holzhauer Auto and Motorsports player of the match. It's a very evenly statistically spread match. I've got one name sticking out in my mind, though. Who do you like for the Holzhauer Auto and Motorsports player of the match?
I definitely have one mind sticking out in my mind, and when I was doing play-by-play, I felt like I called his name quite a bit there in that second half, and for me, it's got to be Ryan. We saw consistency there from Voodoo in the beginning, able to get the points on the board, and Chud or Jack G being a little bit quiet on the first half. Did eventually come alive here in the second, but it felt like Ryan was involved in so many plays, both defensively and offensively, was able to move around the arena so much, and the 14 points here on the board looked absolutely fantastic. A number of threes, some great few twos in there as well. The 5 assists, the steal, the saves, and the stuns all coming through. This guy was all over the arena, had fingerprints all over the game, and although it was close at the end of the day, it's good for me. Ryan stood out in my mind as one of the greats in this one.
Minds melded. I'm right there with you, Glean. I think back to early on when the Daytona Tide didn't quite have didn't have everything figured out. Jack G getting used to the new headset. Voodoo, a couple of goals late in the second quarter, but not really consistent play. It was Ryan who, for 4 quarters, really solidified this award for me, because when they had to have somebody just keep them within striking distance, I felt like it was Ryan who did that in the first half. Consistent play into the second half. It's just that those other players stepped up. So yeah, in the second half, maybe we weren't saying Ryan as much as we were in the first, but that's because the other players weren't playing up to par. He kind of kept that team in it, and then he kept the momentum going into the second half. So if this was a second half award, it'd be a different conversation. Like, wow, Jack G just all of a sudden showed up, and Voodoo with those late goals in the second quarter, and then continuing into the second half, like great halves. If I look at the entire match and the consistency of play, what led them to be in position to make that comeback, it was Ryan getting things done when his team absolutely had to have it. So there's an easy kill for our first Stuntman Trophy Award of the night. Congratulations to you, Ryan. Throw that on the mantle. Enjoy, brag about it to all your friends and family. That is going to close out our first match of the night. It was an exciting one. I can only hope that the next 3 are going to be as good, if not better. This next match, Glean, you talked about it, has huge playoff implications for both of the teams that we just watched, because the Charlotte Smoke are going to be playing the Ottawa Frost. Ottawa Frost has essentially the playoffs solidified. Now they're just looking at positioning, but the Charlotte Smoke checking in at 5 and 6. Right there with where the Scranton Royals were at the start of the night, and scratching at the door where Daytona Tide finished the night. So an all-important game in that kind of middle-of-the-pack Eastern Division standings. Who's in the playoffs, who is not? Charlotte Smoke have their opportunity, but they've got to go up against one of the best in the Ottawa Frost. So do not go far. We are going to be back in just a few short minutes to bring you that matchup. And then we've got 2 Pro Series games, so get settled in. It's going to be a long night of great matchups like we just saw. We will be back. Do not go far. See you in a few.
30 seconds. This one is loose in the Destroyer zone. Collected by Saluda. Stunned out. Picked up by Game. Stunned out. Zenith with it.
This is it. Trying to
Trying
clear
to get
it.
it cleared out. 20 seconds. Game gets it back here. Game turning it around. Sends this one in off of the floor. Gets it to Rosie Hope. Rosie has Zenith pressuring. 13 seconds. Sending this one in. Stunned out. No. What a shield there from Acorn.
Oh, no!
That gets the finish. That's the victory. What's the
that's
clock?
it.
What's the clock?
That's it. That's it.
In the last second, the Orlando Cyclones come back 33 to 32. Are you kidding me?
What?
I've got nothing. Forget finals. What was that? What was that? No, not
look
anymore.
at
Welcome back to Nepa TV. What an exciting start we had to Super Saturday as the Daytona Tide won a great match against the Scranton Royals. Unfortunately, our second matchup of the night, the Ottawa Frost versus the Charlotte Smoke, is not going to happen. We are going to break stream and we are going to be back at 8 o'clock Central Time to kick off our Pro Series matches for the night, where you will see the Denver Raptors take on the Seattle Thunder and the LA Destroyers take on the Phoenix Vipers. We are not done with Super Saturday. We're just taking a longer intermission than expected, so do not go far. Be right back here at 8 p.m. Central Time for more great Nepa TV action.
Seconds. This one is loose in the Destroyer zone. Collected by Saluda. Stunned out. Picked up by Gabe. Stunned out. Zenith with it.
This is it. Trying to clear it.
Cleared out. 20 seconds. Game gets it back here. Game turning it around. Sends this one in off of the floor. Gets it to Rosie Hope. Rosie has Zenith pressuring. 13 seconds. Sending this one in. Stunned out. No. What a shield there from Acorn.
Oh, no.
That gets the finish. That's the victory. What's the clock? What's the clock?
That's it. That's it.
In the last second, the Orlando Cyclones come back 33 to 32. Are you kidding me?
What?
I've got nothing. You know, forget finals. What was that? What was that? No, not anymore. No.
Look at
no. Put me on camera. Put me on
that.
camera. That was unbelievable. I cannot believe what just happened. I cannot believe what just happened.
On that read.